Recording in progress.
Hello, dear Dharma friends. It's morning again. Seems like this just happened. It's lovely to see you magically appearing here. We got up to a little mystery. My stepson, Adrian, was gone. And it turns out it's first day of school and senior sunrise. So they go to the brand new school. They rebuilt the school that he was out of it for a year, but they're back. First day back at a brand new school, watching the sunrise, building a team. Very cool, actually. So it's, I have to look at the date. It's the 9th of September, 2021. I persist in thinking that I'm Robert Beatty. It's my costume, my somebody suit. And this is a broadcast of the Portland Insight Meditation Community. And with me this morning, as wonderfully usually, is Jim Dalton. So I have a poem. There's someone that I wanted to hear it who hasn't arrived yet. I'll send it to her independently. It's a poem for anyone who's having their child leave for college or wherever and suddenly finding the nest empty. It's a big change. It's a big change when they come, and then it's a big change when they go. It's called To a Daughter Leaving Home by someone called Linda Paston. When I taught you at 8 to ride a bicycle, loping along beside you, as you wobbled away on 2 round wheels, my own mouth rounding in surprise when you pulled ahead down the curved path of the park. I kept waiting for the thud of your crash as I sprinted to catch up, while you grew smaller, more breakable with distance, pumping for your life, screaming with laughter, the hair flapping behind you like a handkerchief, waving goodbye. When I taught you at 8 to ride a bicycle, loping along beside you, as you wobbled away on 2 round wheels, my own mouth rounding in surprise when you pulled ahead down the curved path of the park. I kept waiting for the thud of your crash as I sprinted to catch up, while you grew smaller, more breakable with distance, pumping for your life, screaming with laughter, the hair flapping behind you, like a handkerchief waving goodbye. My son Luke, who's almost 40, was born in a birthing cabin in Forest Grove, where he lives now. The doctor would not come to, and midwife team, Peter Boers, would not come to our home because it was too far. So when his mother's waters burst, we drove to Forest Grove through the fog. Then it was a long delivery. But then when he was born, the nurse, midwife, Peter's wife, clamped the umbilical cord and then handed the scissors to me and said, "You do it." And as I did, it was one of those miraculous, astounding moments. As I did it, the words came to mind, "I set you free." And it was very clear to me that that would be the task for the rest of my life. To protect for some long period of time, but then to set free on his own journey. Because we each do make our own journey. So let's land here in the present moment. My left hand's a little numb right now, so I will forego trying to play the guitar. Carpal tunnel, it looks like. So let's reflect. Let's remember the possibility of the refuge in the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Sangha. It's not something that we just ritually and habitually repeat. Oh yeah, there's that little ditty we do, "I take refuge in the Buddha." What is it really? I guess it's very important to ask ourselves, if I'm not taking refuge in the Buddha, Dharma, and Sangha, in what am I taking refuge? And does it make any sense to do that? So coming home here, here now, I aspire to hold myself in sweet compassion when I discover that there's suffering. I intend to love myself, to receive myself, to receive my life experience exactly as it is in the present. The sensations in the body exist now. They are alive. They are the signs of life. There's life in the hands, there's life in the feet. There, in fact, is life everywhere we attend in the body. That's how we know it's there. And this honing of awareness and concentration on the body simultaneously hones awareness to perceive thoughts more clearly, to perceive moods in perspective. To take that position of that which is awake. Of course, the mind may present us with the five hindrances. It's so good to know what they are, to be able to quickly go through and say, is this a mind that's filled with desire and wanting? Is it leaning into the future, looking forward to something changing? Or is it a mind which is filled with aversion, disliking, resentment? Is it a mind that is full of restlessness, agitation, and worry? Or is it dull, sleepy, disinterested? Or is it doubting? Doubting the practice, doubting oneself, doubting. We don't have to change these, though the simple noticing of them is a change, of course. And sometimes it's possible if we're filled with desire and wanting, we can think through, what is it that I'm wanting? Will it actually fill the hole that I'm trying to fill? Or if we're experiencing resentment or aversion toward a person, we can reflect upon that person's vulnerability as a human. We could reflect upon their goodness. If the mind's all restless, we could emphasize concentration. If it's sleepy and dull, we could open our eyes. Really pay attention to the beginning, middle, and ending of things. And with doubt, the company of good friends is very helpful. And we also have room for emotions and moods. They are just what they are. And so we sit, coming home to the breath when we can. Breathing in and breathing out. Each breath breathes itself, and it has a beginning. And these are not just words. It is potentially a direct experience. Here is the beginning of the breath. This is the middle, the fullness. This is the ending. we notice, somehow or another, the mind notices. Something notices. Something wakes up from wandering. Something knows. Something perceives, acknowledges. This is the mind wandering. And this is being awake. Ours is the path of wakefulness, of heedfulness, of mindfulness, of heart-mind fullness. This exploration with mindfulness follows the scientific method. It's not at all about blind faith. Does the mind wander? Is everything that's experienced passing away, arising and passing? Is there some place of complete satisfaction that persists in the sense doors? Can I find a self? So we have our hypotheses, our question, and then we carry out the experiment, which is the observation, as non-judgmentally, as open-heartedly as we can. And we notice the arising and passing of the breath, of thoughts, of days, of weeks and months, of friendships, of life situations, governments. And it's all so simple in a way. Coming home here now. And to help break us, to break ourselves out of the trance of ignorance, there's a very potent and simple reflection. It's known as the 5 subjects for frequent recollection. I am of the nature to age. I have not gone beyond aging. Is this true? I am of the nature to age. I have not gone beyond aging. I am of the nature to sicken. I've not gone beyond sickness. Is this true? I am of the nature to sicken. I have not gone beyond sickness. I am of the nature to die. I've not gone beyond dying. Is this true? I am of the nature to die. All that is mine, beloved and pleasing, will become otherwise, will become separated from me. Is this true? All that is mine, beloved and pleasing, will become otherwise, will become separated from me. I am the owner of my intentional actions. I am the owner of my karma, heir to my karma, born of my karma, related to my karma, abide supported by my karma. Whatever karma I shall do, for good or for ill, of that I will be the heir. Is this true? I am the owner of my karma, heir to my karma, born of my karma, related to my karma, abide supported by my karma. Whatever karma I shall do, for good or for ill, of that I will be the heir. Thus should we frequently recollect, said the Buddha. Thank you for coming today to sit together. I was reminded of the 5 daily recollections by this little card. Ruth Dennison came, I think, the last time to visit PIMC, and it's that card with her picture and this inscription on the inscription of the 5 daily recollections on the back. The chat listing is very full today. I posted a bunch of things there. I'm just going to note them for you. That the ongoing, the invitation to provide ongoing support to PIMC, preferably a monthly contribution, that really helps. And any amount is helpful. So if you're capable of largesse, then why not? But if something small is possible, then, or something of any size, because you'll feel the connection, which is important. Then there's Candle Summer's first and third Sundays, a link to that. There's a Vimeo link here, which is the fundraising link that we created for the ramp. And if you've never seen it, I highly recommend it. It's starring Jeannie Mooneyham, and how silly, I'm blocking on his name. I see him on Wednesdays. Our friend Mark, who is slowly dissolving into ALS, Lou Gehrig's disease. He can't speak at all anymore. And then there's the fundraising letter for the present hour, a need for funds to complete the first phase of the seismic upgrade and getting the ramps together. Whew, that's a lot of words, isn't it? And then there's the 5 subjects for frequent recollection. Lots of good medicine right there. Jim, you want to add anything that I have obliterated?
I think that's plenty. Thank you.
Oops. I think that must have been no.
I said thank you. That was plenty.
Yeah, I know. Gets to be a lot. I was there yesterday, and I sent out pictures on the listserv. I can just pull them up here quickly on my iPad, I think, to show those of you that aren't on either of those vehicles. Here it goes here. So here's the guys. I'm forgetting their names right now. They're doing the asbestos removal. And let me tell you, it is sealed off. Here's the kitchen door. And inside there are 3 airlocks. You have to go through 3 different plastic walls. And here's the big warning sign, warning asbestos. And hang on. And this is what it looks like through the viewing window. The whole room is sealed in plastic except for the roof, the ceiling, and that's what they're taking out. They'll be done by Friday. I also did a walkthrough with the J&J Construction honcho, and we're getting the timing of things down, and it's going to happen. It is happening. It actually is in process. So, enough of
Robert,
me.
I think there's a problem with the Vimeo thing. It's a link to Ruth Dennison's videos. It's not the...
Oh, shit. Oh, well, alas. Sorry about that. I thought that was what that was. I'll put it up tomorrow.
Okay.
So that's me. What's happening and what are the joys and sorrows? What are the questions? How is the Dharma unfolding for you, my friends? I guess actually I want to share this. I read, and I'm rereading Stephen Levine's A Year to Live, and came away from it with a remembrance. Actually, years and years ago, I helped Stephen. I did a little bit of helping him, teaching walking meditation on one of his retreats at Brighton Bush, and got to know him a little bit. And I was feeling very insecure as a teacher then. And I said, we were walking back to the cabins together, and I said something about I just can't seem to get my life really together to feel good about myself. And here I am being a teacher, and my own life is somewhat chaotic. And he paused and stepped in front of me on the trail and looked me in the eye and said, Robert, every time I meet someone who really has their shit together, they're standing in it. And that stuck with me all these years. And yesterday was one of those days when everything kept falling apart. I kept misplacing my keys. I was tired. I couldn't, it was like the world was not cooperating with me. I had a lot of crap to get in and out of the car, and it was hot. And the whole day, actually. In the evening, it kind of simplified, but the whole day I felt like I was chasing myself. How interesting. The morning meditation had been quite calm, and so one just never knows. Very interesting. I'm hoping today is a day of more order, but who knows? I was pretty accepting of the crumbling. Yeah. I hear someone. Very garbled, Sky. Is it clear for you? Oh, there we are. A little.
Okay. A little better.
Oh, now it's clear.
I just wanted to say thank you so much for saying that about every time I meet somebody who has their shit together, they're standing in it. I was just about to share when you started to talk, because I have been feeling lately that just a lot of shit has been happening. It's one thing after another, one disappointment after another, one more challenge for me to be accepting, and then also to allow my feelings and feel them so that they pass through. And it's been a lot of lately, just a lot of stuff. And even this morning, I get up and I'm going to go join Sangha, and the horses have gotten out and they're wandering all around the property, just loose. Gate was left open, and I was going to go chase them. And I was on my way to get them, and I stood there and I looked at them and said, what difference does it make? You can't get out. Fine, eat the lawn. It doesn't make any difference. So they're wandering around past the window. They're in the garage, sniffing at my car. It's like, oh, it's always something. And I was feeling really stressed. Like, how come I can't get my shit together? Why is all this happening? And that's just life, I guess. Seems like it's in a weird place. That's all. It's my big reveal for the day. Thank you for listening.
life is always falling apart. It's the third law, second law of thermodynamics, isn't it? Entropy. I forget which one it is. That energy tends to dissipate. And so we're involved in the process of negative entropy, of negentropy, mindfulness practices, that we're bringing order and clarity and presence and precision. We're bringing something together, and it's always tending to fall apart.
Is that why we see it more? Because we gain clarity and perspective?
Absolutely. We not that they don't use the word that the roots of suffering are greed, hatred, and delusion. And we live in our models and our fantasies of the way things are. And then as the clouds begin to clear, we start noticing how things actually are. And things are anicca, they are impermanent. Yeah. I can't remember if I shared this with this community. I know I've told several people, because it's really been profound for me. Just in the last few weeks, I had a really, I would say, life-changing intuition. And it had to do with the story of my life. Oh, I have talked about it, but I'll mention it again. With the story of my life. And I've had a remarkable life. I mean, I've worked on freighters and cowboy in Australia and ski patrol in Switzerland and several marriages and children and stepchildren and custody battle. I mean, really, it's been a wild ride. And there's always been this sense of, but it was so hard. And yes, I was a ski patrolman in Switzerland, but this was wrong. And yes, there was always something wrong. And so there was this sense that, my life's been disappointing. And then one day the story got really clear like that. And then I realized, Robert, that's the first noble truth. Ruth Dennison's statement, Dalink, there's always a leak in the canoe. There's been a leak in the canoe my whole life. And that's how it is. There's always a leak in the canoe. And something shifted. There was a sense of, I'm whining about the first noble truth. That's kind of weird. And so I've been experiencing a kind of rewrite of my entire life, of how much support I've had. I had Ruth Dennison for 42 years, and some of that was very hard near the end. But my parents taught me so much. Basic ethics and woodworking and skiing and how to take care of myself in the world, and so on and so on. And so that there's a profound, I'm experiencing a profound drop in the whining, and it's still the case. There's always a leak in the canoe. And what a relief.
Sometimes we just need to hear somebody remind us of that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Though
Robert.
Whoever left the horse corral open is in deep doo-doo. You should, if it wasn't you, you should definitely feel outrage and, superiority.
It's either me, but 24 hours ago that something was just slightly latched and they figured it out how to open it, or it's one of my guests that are still sleeping who were wandering around the property. But it's a good thing I just calmed down.
It is.
And I thought to myself, well, they're just leaving little piles of fertilizer around. It's okay.
Yeah.
They're not going to hurt anything.
But isn't that an interesting thing that you could have and might have in the past held resentment to whoever left it open, and a sense of frustration, and things are out of control, and then there could be a whole story on top of that. And then it could go back in time. It's always going to be like this, and there could be a whole storm of delusion, as opposed to, oh, the horses are loose. Need to remind everybody to close the latch, or need to get a new latch because the damn horses have figured it out. Or, but those.
It's a metaphor. I'm sure it's a metaphor for something. Hold your horses.
Well, but of life, it's always falling apart.
Yeah. Shit happens.
Right now on the grass.
Yes, probably. I do feel better though, hearing that it's a first noble truth. There's always a leak in the canoe.
Mm-hmm.
It's when there just seems to be one damned leak after another, it gets a little overwhelming, and you get to feel kind of shaky.
Yeah. And then you feel together a little bit, and then you feel shaky again, and then because we're looking for
tired.
stability. Yeah. Right.
I'm sick of all these fucking leaks. Isn't there a canoe that doesn't have holes in it?
Well, I think refuge in the Buddha Dharma Sangha is as close as I get.
Yeah.
I mean,
anyway.
This is not a popular conversation we're having. You know, that dare I go here? There's a fantasy. There's a profound fantasy about America being the best country in the world, and the best this and the best that, and part of what we're seeing is that the fantasy is crumbling. The shadow side of our country is really quite apparent now, and that's not acceptable because we've got it together, and it rattles. What part of the reason for the intense backlash is it rattles people's delusion that everything should be okay. And it would be okay if we could just get rid of the people with different skin color, or the people who believe something different, or we could have our pure, stable world. And of course, it just isn't, and it never can be. It can't be because of the nature of reality.
So is there something to the concept that this imperfection is perfect?
I don't know whether it's perfect or imperfect. It simply is. And is it imperfection or is it impermanence? Imperfection says there could be a perfect, but it's just that life is just as it is. And it's unstable. You know that.
And there's the challenge of accepting it then.
Yeah. Well, and working as hard as we can to make things stable. You close the latch you put a latch on the horse's corral, but it fails. And you build the systems as thoroughly and well as you can. And funny, the things that come to mind. Do you remember the Hubble Telescope? I don't know if they got it working again. It had broken down once again. But when they launched it, it didn't work. Because the two sides, the European side and the American side, I think, they missed the optical connection between them, and it was blind. And it didn't work for 6 or 8 months till they sent up a group of people to put a contact lens in the thing. On a scale that, tens of billions of dollar project, and it didn't work because of human error. Oh boy. Might be a fun thing to do today, to watch maybe and come report back tomorrow, to watch the things that fall apart today that you didn't anticipate. Right? What will need repair today that you didn't, and you don't have time for? Right? The fridge stops working. Or there's that brand new pain in your heart that you've never noticed before. Or. It's a good thing we have a sense of humor.
Hey, Robert, it's Neil.
Hello, Neil.
Yeah, do you think there's a relaxing into the change? The change is constant, so that could be some kind of comfort.
Yeah.
I mean, it's for me, it's annoying, but it's also it's learning how things really work
Yes.
and what I have control over and what I don't have control over. I know I'm having a really hard time watching movies. For someone that likes to fiddle around with scripts, it's annoying, and I feel like it's because sometimes I want to blame my mindfulness practice, because I feel like if I watch a movie, I'm escaping my reality. I'm escaping my feelings, or I'm not sitting with myself. And that, I see changes happening, and taking refuge, I haven't found the solace in that, the refuge is, yet. But the change, it seems like sometimes I wonder if the people that have their shit together, they really are the masters of change. And I liked what you said about the people that have their shit together are sitting in their own shit. But I don't know. I this conversation that just transpired, I think it's something I think about, and it's very interesting. Change. I think a lot of what I read, any kind of religious based, philosophical kind of stuff, it's ultimately about change. How do we deal with change? And I think that the act of trying to deal with it is is problematic at some level, because it's not about, for me, accepting it. I'm not accepting what's happening. Maybe, I don't know. It's hard to know when to fight and when to accept.
Oh, that's true. Are you familiar with the Serenity Prayer?
Yes.
That's the clearest formulation I've ever encountered, right? It's got God or universe or whatever. Grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. My goodness, that says a lot in a few lines. And how about this as an operational principle? Of course we work to control things in our lives. We plan, we use management by objectives, we enlist aid, we use machines, we do a lot of things to try to make life more predictable and safe. But what about when I realize I can't? It's beyond my capacity. Then how do we find peace with that? And that's where the acceptance, I think, really comes in. It's not acceptance always. It's acceptance when that's the most skillful thing to do. And when we're suffering, if we look at the Four Noble Truths, there is suffering, and then there's the cause, which is wanting something to be different. And then there's the relief, which is accepting that things are as they are. That when we're suffering around change, to really look at the causality and to then set ourselves free of the suffering, because, well, this is something to be accepted. This is not something I can control. And I think you're at an interesting cusp as well around movies. And you're right. They are a distraction. And sometimes there's a place for distraction. It's, does the binge watching start in the morning and end with bed? It's gotten bad when that's the case. And I've become inhaled. I've been every now and then I get caught by some series, and I get tired. I stay up too late, and I'm not in one right now. I'm resisting. Yeah. Thank you for. Did you have anything else you'd like to say regarding that?
I'm sure that everyone here could talk about this for hours.
It's true.
I mean, I don't know. I probably have more I could say, but I think I'm okay at the moment.
All right. Thank you, Neil.
Thank you.
Oh. Pretty dog, Frank. That was fun going to get the horses, Sky. Beautiful horses. Were they eating from a bird feeder?
Oh, yes. He is eating the bird seed. So he did find something to get into. That's Joe's horse, by the way. The naughty one.
I see. Odd that it would be Joe's.
I'm sure he'll be back. So I probably got to go catch them now.
I see. Well, I see that Molly's here with us this morning. Anybody sitting with anything you really must be spoken before we go? Well, Molly, would you like to lead us? Let me get in close on you. Hard to see you with that window behind you. Oh, there we go. I can sort of see you. Are you ready to lead us?
Yeah.
When you're ready, you go for it. May
May
all beings be happy. May all beings be happy. May all beings be happy. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Yay! Thank you. Yay! Very nicely done.
Hi, Mommy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Tad, you can help with your little list.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye,
Thank you,
Robert.
Sangha.
Bye, friends.
Bye, Sangha.
Dave, have a great day.
Okay.
Have
Be well,
a
Sangha.
have a
Hope you all do
fine
well.
time today. Bye bye.
Denise, Sherry.
Bye.